Can you swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, welcome friend, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find the Spider-Man.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Storytime with Spidey. I know I've been away for a while, but I'm back, ready to bring you more fun and adventure. I actually have a new book that I will be starting you on today. 5-Minute Marvels. It's a cool collection of stories about me and some of my friends. As you can see here, you got me, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and this other spider guy, Miles Morales. A lot of you probably heard of him from that Spider-Verse movie. Hulk, She-Hulk, but no, that's not She-Hulk, that's Gamora. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff in here, so let's begin. The first story that we'll be reading from, oh, look at this picture of all the bad guys that we have to deal with. It's a good thing that there's so many superheroes to work with, because otherwise I'd be in trouble if I had to do all this by myself. We'll be starting with the new Spider-Man in town. We know about this guy, Miles. You know, a kid actually came up to me not too long ago and asked if I was copying Miles' costume. No, he copies me. Anyway, Miles Morales is a student at Midtown High School in New York City, just like I was. He's happy and he has a thirst for knowledge. That means he just really wants to learn and grow his brain. He was a young boy just like any other, working hard and doing the right thing. But something soon happened that changed his life for good. When in chemistry class, Miles noticed that his good friend Peter Parker kept sneaking out of school. Miles grew suspicious, wondering if something was wrong with Peter, if he was okay. So one day, Miles followed Peter and watched as he snuck a mask from his bag. But it wasn't just any mask that Peter was sneaking. It was Spider-Man's mask. Now, I know you're thinking I should have been able to sense him, but I don't consider Miles a threat, and that's why he didn't register on my danger warning sense. Miles couldn't believe it. When he was leaving school that afternoon, Miles called to Peter. "Hey Peter, where are you headed?" Peter awkwardly smiled back and said, I've got an assignment for the Daily Bugle. Yeah, I've got to go." Quick cover story. You might remember the Daily Bugle. It's the newspaper that prints all those lovely stories about me that are not true. Miles didn't believe that either. He followed Peter to a giant lab. Inside the lab, Miles lost track of Peter, and he didn't notice the genetically altered spider slowly spinning a web and dropping down toward him. Ooh, that sounds familiar. Yow! Miles actually... The spider bit Miles right on the hand. Miles knocked it off. He knew instantly that this was no ordinary spider bite. See, I didn't know that when I first got bitten. I had no idea what was happening. Instead of getting sick from the spider bite, Miles soon discovered that it gave him spider powers. I've got to figure out what this means. What should I do? He ran home fast. Probably faster than he could before, because that's how it was for me. And you see, here he is getting bitten. Yeah. And I can tell you, that first bite is painful. Hi there, Ellen. Nice of you to join me. Think, Miles told himself. If Peter really is Spider-Man, then what did he do? Miles searched for articles about Spider-Man. Okay, so you get powers? Check. Then what? You make a costume and go stop bad guys. That seems obvious. With that, Miles created his own Spider-Man costume and left into the city. And this is the costume that he came up with. Now see, yes, he did use black and red, and I used black and red for this one. But again, I didn't copy him. After all, how can you copy the imitator? See? I can run on walls, Miles yelled as he scaled the side of a building. I remember how exciting that was my first time. He was enjoying discovering his powers, and climbing walls wasn't the only one. Miles soon discovered he had an amazing spider sense that warned him of danger. What the heck? Miles couldn't ignore the ringing in his brain. That's when he noticed the burglars running behind him. In that instant, what started off as fun became very scary. I know a little bit about that too. See, sometimes when you're taking on something new in your life, it can be cool and it can be scary at the same time. And that's true whether it's becoming a superhero, going to a new school. Any change can be exciting and scary. You just have to kind of find a way to balance the two feelings. Miles had a really big decision to make. Should he run from the danger and stay safe, or should he use his new powers to try to stop these villains? Now, what would you choose? I know what I chose, although not the first time. The first time I made the wrong decision. I focused on me, and I paid for that. Miles realized that if he was going to call himself Spider-Man, he was going to have to act like Spider-Man. Much to his surprise, Peter Parker, as the original Spider-Man, was already on the case. I can't wait around. One of the criminals was getting away, but Miles was able to help. Hold on, Helmet Head, he announced. The only place you're running off to. Miles had power to match Peter's and was easily able to contain the thief. And here we see all of those things happening. I'm going to make sure I'm not getting any spider stickiness issues with the pages. It wasn't until the action was over that Miles realized just how much danger he was really in. He climbed to the top of a building and wanted to fade away, which is exactly what he did. This was a brand new power, one that Peter didn't have. Sometimes I wish I could do that. It would be a lot easier in some of my fights. He camouflaged himself into his surroundings. Basically, it was like he kind of became invisible. Peter Parker swung up to where Miles had been. "Miles, is that you?" Peter called out. "I recognize your voice. Believe it or not, I know what you're thinking. I went through the same thing when I first got my powers." Miles was stunned. "You did?" "Sure I did," Peter said. "Michael Ben used to tell me that with great power comes great responsibility." Peter tossed Miles something from his costume. "Here, you can have these extra web shooters for now," because he was going to need them and he didn't know how to make them himself. I had to figure that one out on my own. "Whoa, cool," Miles said while testing out the web shooters. Miles looked up to Peter, figuring out what he should do. "Maybe I can follow you around for a few days, see how it goes." And so here we see Miles testing out the web shooters for the first time. And we're going to leave off right here for now. As you could see, Miles was in a new position and didn't quite know what to make of it. But he had one benefit that I didn't have, which was somebody that he could look to kind of show him the ropes, or webs as it is. And when you're in a new situation and you don't know what to do, it's perfectly normal. It's also okay to ask for help or ask for advice. You can find somebody who knows what you've been through, understands what you're dealing with, You may not feel like they do, but believe it or not, the people around you, the ones close to you, know more than you think, and they have experienced more than you think. And it's okay to ask them, hey, what is my next move? I didn't have a veteran Spider-Man to ask for help because I was the first one. And sure, I could have asked one of the Avengers or someone like that to show me what to do, or maybe Daredevil, but I didn't think of that at the time. I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and I still make mistakes now, but that's because I'm human. But I learn from them, and I do my best to not repeat them. So that is all the time we have for today. I'm going to be signing off. I'm going to be reminding you again, be smart, be safe, and wear the mask. I don't know if you're going to be going back to school this week or if you're going to be schooling remotely, but whatever you do, try to stay healthy. Follow the rules, do the right thing. And until next time, Excelsior!
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing down the thread? Take a look.